Okay, I just received the 63-inch big stick 60 size from Valley Hobby. This is a ARF, almost ready to fly. It was $88, and it's basically a knockoff of the Great Plains kit, but much cheaper. Fuselage looks like it's in 2 pieces. Never seen something like that before. I also ordered from Valley Hobby. I got one of their motors right here, and it's a 4 to 6 size, 600 kV. Runs 4 to 6 cells. I'm using that motor. Hardware, manual, 14x7 props, wing joiner, landing gear, where fuel tanks won't be needing that, and the control rods. I'll be using an 85 amp ESC from Moxie to switching BC, 3 amp output. Or I might go with a separate 3 amp UBC with the power up 70 amp opto EC. For the receiver, I'm using Spectrum Aero 600X, standard Futaba servos, and for the motor, like you saw, the Valley Hobby G46, 4.6 size 600 kV motor with 14x7 props, but I'm probably going to use a 15x8, which is on its way right now, so let's start building. Okay, initial impressions are very good. Most of the artists I build have been pretty old, like old Hanger 9 stuff, and this is very nice. The covering, I don't know what covering it is, but they did a great job. I can't find any imperfections. Actually, the only one I could find, but doesn't really count, is it's uneven, the seam on the decal, but everything is really shrunk down well. But what I'm going to do is get my iron set to about 250 to 300 degrees because it has a sock on, and just run it over to make sure it still adhere to the wood really well. Then I'm going to get some thin CA, run it along in the structure, although the glue, there's plenty of glue in there, it looks like, but just to hold everything, make sure everything's going to stay together. And then for the hardware, it seems fine. This landing gears, this is pretty intense. Look at that thing. And these are, I think, 2.62 inch I measured. I don't know what that is in millimeters, but these are nice tires, and just all hardware seems really nice. This is a tail dragger. That's a tail wheel. So okay, so right now it's Friday, 3:30, and I want to get this done before tomorrow's Saturday because the weather looks nice for Maine, so we'll see how long I have to stay up. Okay, I forgot to mention, this is from the company Aeromax in China, so it's imported. It's called the Easy Stick, not the Big Stick, but I don't know, Valley Hobby calls it the Big Stick. And the first step is to hinge the ailerons. I've already done it on the right side, turned out very nice. I cut out little, they pre-cut the slots, but I cut a little area around it so I can see it better, so I'm going to do that right now on the left-hand side. The CA applicator, makes it a lot easier. The hinges that came with it seem fine, a little rough, but one of my favorite tricks I've learned is to put little T-pins on the very center of the hinge before you put them in, so they won't slide back into the wing or whatever you're hinging. So it'll be nice, and everything will be nice and center right before you glue it. Then you take them out and put all the CA in. Okay, the wing's been curing for about 2 hours now. In the meantime, I finished the aileron housing, servo housing, got each of these blocks, drilled holes in for the servo, and glued it on. Then drilled 2 holes and put screws in there, so just extra security. The servos are about a hair off the block or the balsa, so vibrations don't get in there. These go onto the wing like this. I had to sand and cut a lot off the balsa blocks just so it would fit, even when the servo's in the center, so that's a problem right there, but not too bad. And then screw these in, and then I think the next step is the fuselage. Okay, it's 8:45 p.m. already, and I spent the last hour just trying to get this to fit well. I guess to save money with the shipping with the size of the box, they kind of cut the fuselage here, because I think it's like 57-inch fuselage, and this is the method for putting it together. Right there, these balsa sticks, and they don't really fit that well. I spent like an hour sanding them to get them to fit in the slots. Then one of them broke, and unfortunately, that's gonna weaken a little. But I'm just gonna put a bunch of 30-minute epoxy all over the place, and hope for the best. So I'm gonna glue that together now. So I just mounted the elevator servo here, and I've run into the problem. The push rod for the rudder is pretty much identical to the elevator one. It's not long enough. It only reaches to about here. So I was looking at the back of the fuselage here, and I found these little slots, like right there. You can see in the light. I realized those are servo slots, so I put the rudder one back here and cut the stock wire. And this has been curing for about 2 hours, and it seems pretty good, nice and strong. The next step is gluing on and hinging the horizontal stabilizer and elevator. It's just past midnight, and I'm gonna call it a night or morning, whatever. A pretty good start, and I'll still fly it tomorrow. So let this dry overnight. It has 30-minute epoxy on it, horizontal stabilizer. Then in the morning I'll connect it up with the servo, mount the receiver, and I'll do all the drilling and stuff to mount the motor. Then final stuff like some small covering stuff I had to fix in. We can go fly. So all the major gluing stuff is done. It's just basically mounting the motor. That's the biggest thing in the way right now. See you in a few hours. Now that all the servos and control surfaces are installed, we gotta do the tail wheel. Okay, 2 problems. First of all, the stock tail wheel does not fit the diameter wire, and it's a metal hub, so it was really hard to try and drill out. I gave up, and I got this tommorow 1/4 inch tail wheel, drilled that out. Second of all, these wheel collars are too small to fit on the axle, so I have to replace those with my own. The tail wheel is installed, and it's not steerable. I can't see how it could be. The wire was long enough to reach the rudder control horn, but even if I put it all the way back to the gap elevator, it wouldn't have reached the control horn, and that's all pushed forward all the way to the seal. So I'm hoping this rudder will be able to push it around on the ground. Okay, now the final part of the build is mounting the motor onto the firewall. I did this by laying the X mount over the firewall, and then I drilled small holes. Then I took a 5/3 inch drill bit, I think, and drilled larger holes and installed these 3 blind nuts I had with 30-minute epoxy. The motor is now mounted. 3 bolts to the blind nuts, which are cured now. Then I got another bolt because I couldn't find any more blind nuts. I got another bolt and fed it through and put a nut and washer. Oh man, I don't think you can see. Nut and washer back there. I managed to get a nut and washer on the 2 side bolts too. So that's for extra security. And then I built in down thrust and right thrust with some APC prop adapters. Here we're pretty much ready to go. Okay, so we're out of the field now. We'll do a run-up test. I'm gonna do the range check.
It's a serious thrust. I can barely hold on to it.
I say we put the 14x7 on. That's 60 amp. That's too much.
So what size now?
Okay, now it's a 14x7 EMP prop because of 15x.